Hi, I'm Bradley with Blue Cord, and if you guys saw in the last grass cutting video, I have to pass underneath this bush thing, and I'm not even sure what this is. Yeah, this thing's gotta go, but it's kind of mostly dead. And I mentioned every time I hit this thing, and I've been hitting this for years, I keep saying I gotta cut this thing down. Well, today's the day. We're gonna cut this thing down, clean up a lot of the saplings that are kind of dying around the big walnut here. I want to be able to make this front yard as nice as possible and create as much turf and as much lawn as I can, just to open up this space and make it usable and enjoyable. Now, I'm not going to be cutting any of these trees down. My goal is to keep as much canopy as possible, keeping a good distance between healthy trees and creating a nice layer of turf underneath. I just want to create a nice, beautiful space with a lot of shade. Like with any other project, I want to do this in as efficient manner as possible. So we'll probably start with the saw, and I'll cut down some of these, I won't call them saplings. It's mostly dead. You can see up there, it's not doing too well. It's mostly shaded by this walnut tree. You can also see the size of some of these vines that I cut off of here last fall. I mean, this vine right here is probably a good 3 inches in diameter, and this is good enough to lift numerous tons of weight. These things are incredibly strong, and they grow like crazy, and they'll climb up a tree and they'll kill it in no time. So anyway, let's go ahead, get the chainsaw, and we'll cut this tree. And there's another one over there. You can see we got 2 of these things, and this bush. We'll eliminate them because I just want to clear everything and keep everything as clear for this walnut tree as possible. This is a nice tree. We want it to be healthy and live a long time. Well, that was easy. Again, these trees were very small. At least we got them mostly bucked. We'll start hauling this wood out of here, get it out of my way. Now we just gotta cart these off, probably use the power bucket with the grapple, which will be super fun. And then we'll come in with the stump grinder, come in and finish off these stumps. That's one step closer to cleaning up around this walnut. Now, normally I would cut these stumps down a little lower with the saw, but because there's a lot of debris around here, I don't want to cut them so low that I forget where they are. That's the last thing I want to do, is clip one of them when I'm coming back with the machine. So I leave them a little high, and when I'm ready, I come back with stump grinder. They're a lot easier to find. might be asking, Bradley, why do you stay in the seat and try to pick up all those little twigs with the power bucket? And my answer is simple, because I can. I have spent a lot of time practicing on this to be able to even pick up the smallest items so I could stay in my seat and maximize my comfort and enjoyment in doing this type of work. Sure, I mean, you saw the technique I used. I'll push some of the smaller sticks around into more of a larger pile, and I can pick up more at once. And besides, it's fun, you know, to be able to do that with the controls instead of dismounting and picking stuff up by hand. This is way much more fun, don't you think? The stump grinder is a little lopsided because of this kickstand right here. I lost the pin by accident, and Ventrac drop shipped me a new one and 2 new belts. So let's go ahead and get that new pin put on here, and then we'll be able to hook to this thing. Thanks a lot, Ventrac. Really appreciate it. I have spare belts for every single attachment that we have. And we keep them all here, and that way if we're out in the field, we have all the belts that we need, should we need one. That being said, that's a lot of belts. How do I tell them apart? Well, I'll tell you right now, I do not have every single belt memorized for every single attachment. So what I do is I take a piece of duct tape and a Sharpie, and I write the name of the attachment that each belt is for. Yep, forgot to hook the PTO belt. I get too caught up in making these videos. It happens. The things I do for y'all. We have a lot of this rock on this property. It's a special kind of schist called Wissahickon, named after the natives that used to live in this area. This stuff is awful. It is very hard, very brittle, very sharp. And as you can see, I just turned one up. It got caught in the cutters, but the good news is these are the original cutters I've had the stump grinder since Ventrac sent it to me to test. So these cutters are beat, and I knew I wasn't going to put new cutters on just to make the stump grinder look even more awesome than it already is, because I knew chances were pretty good and I was going to hit some rock like this. And yeah, now I don't feel nearly as bad. Damaging some old cutters, not a problem. As hard as this rock is, these cutters are exceptionally tough. In fact, on the hardness scale, the only thing that exceeds the hardness of these cutters are diamonds. Now, for those that don't know, the same uncle that bought the first Ventrac in our family back in 2002 is also a metallographer. So he knows a lot more about metal than I ever will in my lifetime. He was responsible for a lot of projects for the US military to develop armor-piercing penetrators for special ammunition. I'd say I got these stumps obliterated. They're down way below grade, so when I do come over here and regrade this with the power rake at some point, yeah, this will be pretty nice. That's the one thing I love about the new stump grinder, is the ease of seeing how deep you're getting and not leaving any high spots that you have to go back and touch up later. This stump grinder is awesome. I have way too much fun. If you guys are enjoying these videos, don't be bashful. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications bell, and that way when we upload new awesome videos, not only will you be the first to know, but other people who would love this channel as well will be able to find us more easily. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I take the time to read them all, and I respond. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.